Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Meenaal Fatma and welcome to the ongoing series that we were doing for a long time now, and now we are on the 7th session of it. Right, so before I move forward, I just want to give like a couple of seconds to be sure that I can see your comments. Great, I think I can see it. So in case you guys are watching me for the first time, this is a part of the Unacademy session that I'm doing currently, and if you're not yet part of my different social media groups, make sure you do. I'm available on Telegram, that's my Telegram channel name, Instagram, as well as on Facebook. Make sure you connect with me on either of them, because there are a number of free classes, a new courses that keep coming up literally every single day. So if you connect with me on either of them, I'll keep sharing the links and the further updates that we have. Okay, great. So before I move forward, I'll tell you about a channel briefly too. So the video that you're currently watching in is part of Unacademy IELTS. Unacademy is one of the largest learning platform that we have in a country currently, where we provide live classes to students. And we have different types of live classes, which I'll tell you as we move forward. This YouTube session is also part of the Unacademy, right? So now I just want to tell you about my playlist too. So I have two playlists under the Unacademy IELTS. There's one called Learn IELTS with Meenaal Fatma, and the other one is Classroom Talks with Meenaal Fatma. Now I often make number of series. My current ongoing series is the one on scholarship that you're currently watching. The other one is on the most expected writing tasks 2 topics, and the other one is most expected speaking part 2 topics. Okay, so these are the ongoing ones, and they're also I think there are more on vocabulary. I think so. There are a couple of more. So all of them, in case you encounter a certain video which says part 3, and you want to see what's there in part 2 or part 1, then you can go to my playlist, that is Learn IELTS with Meenaal Fatma, and find all my videos. Okay, great. So our first ever anthem is out on YouTube, which is called Let's Crack It, and Let's Crack It is also our first ever slogan, right? So in case you've not watched our anthem on YouTube yet, please make sure you do watch it. It's really inspiring, motivating, and I'm sure it's going to give you a push to get out of your bed. Yeah, so this part is this is the 7th part of the series which we were discussing on scholarship. As I move forward, I'll quickly brief you also in case you are not yet aware of it. So in this particular part, we'll be talking about some tips that will actually help you to push yourself into a smooth 8 band. I have scored myself, and I can help you guys out to do too. Before I move ahead, I'll quickly introduce myself. Hi guys, I'm Meenaal. Professionally, I'm an architect and an urban designer. I've done my bachelor's from Birla Institute of Technology, that's in Mehta, Ranchi, and from there on I moved to London, where I did MArch from A School of Architecture. I have lived, worked and studied in London for the past 2 years. I've also worked in some cities in India as well as in Dubai before I moved to London, and I've given the exams myself, and the scores are in front of you. Last but not the least, I have been taking classes for IELTS for almost 3 years now, both in India as well as in UK. So that's this quick brief introduction about me. Now, as I was saying, this is part of the scholarship opportunity that has come up. I have talked about them in detail in my previous videos. In part 1, part 2, part 3, I've talked about how you can get the scholarship, and in the follow-up videos I have been covering different modules and giving tips for different modules. Okay, so just as a quick reminder, the scholarship is worth £3,000 and it is going to be given to only and only 10 students, and the deadline is not far away, 29th of February. So you need to give your exam really quick if you have not yet given, and get your results soon so you can put up your applications. And that is why I've tried to put up loads of courses on my Unacademy profile, so that you could actually prepare all the 4 modules parallelly and give and get your good results very soon. Okay, great. So Hiren is here. Hi Hiren. All those who are joining in, guys, keep introducing yourself, and also if you're watching me for the first time, it's going to be great if you could introduce yourself just like I did. Great. So while we wait for others to talk about themselves, I'll start with the speaking module. Now, speaking module takes approximately 11 to 15 minutes to get over. So even if you are intimidated and not very confident, you just have to accept the fact that it's just going to be a 15-minute hassle and you're going to come out with flying colors, right? Now, your speaking module has 4 sections. First is the introduction that roughly takes place for 30 seconds, and I've just made a video where I've talked about this particular part, which I often call it as part 0, where you generally have you have to greet the examiner and your ID check is done. So after that, your exam technically starts, which includes part 1, which is the interview round, part 2, which is the long turn round, and part 3, which is the discussion round, right? And you have approximately 3 to 3.5 minutes for each of them. For part 1, you have 3.5 to 4.5 minutes, part 2 is 3 to 4 minutes, and part 3 is 4 to 5 minutes. Now, first of all, I just want to tell you an important tip on how to prepare these different parts. Now, all these 3 different parts of your speaking test have their own levels of difficulty, and that's how I teach actually in my Plus classes, is where I make the students understand what exactly is the difficulty of these parts, and then explain how you can address them. Now, even if you're very fluent with your English, you might not know where they are trying to get marks from, right? So you have to actually be very careful on preparing the from exam point of view strategically. So even if you're very good with English, you still need to prepare, because you need to know properly where are your marks coming from. So you have to be careful about your different marking criterias and give equal weightage to all of them, right? So if it's coherence, cohesion, task achievement, pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, all of them will have equal weightage. So if you do not prepare all of them parallelly, you're definitely missing on something, and that is why you're not able to push yourself from a 6.5 band to 7.5, 8 band. Okay, so make sure when you practice, you focus on the marking criterias. Okay, so that's point number 1. Point number 2, as I just said, all the 3 parts have their own difficulty level. For example, part 1, the difficulty is that the questions are really simple and they require a 1 word or a 1 tiny sentence answer. And sometimes I personally, this is one part which I feel really difficult. I feel that it is the most difficult because I do not understand what to talk further, because they're so obvious that I could just maybe say in the tiniest of the sentence possible and finish my answer. right? So for now, you know that this is the difficulty level of this part, that the questions are going to be really easy, but you cannot stop talking until and unless the examiner asks you to stop. And that's again an important tip, that you will never ever stop answering for any question on your own, or get distracted by looking at your watch or monitoring your watch, right? So you're going to leave all these tasks on the examiner and not get distracted by anything, right? So part 1, you have to understand how you're gonna prepare to talk for easy questions for a long time. Okay, now all those people who think part 2 is relatively difficult, I have a question for you guys. Now when you have actually time to structure down your ideas, why do you think it would be a little bit more difficult in comparison to part 1 and part 3, where you don't have time to actually pencil down your informations and you just have to go back and forth with your answers, right? So now part 2, the deciding factor of how you're going to do is hidden in that 1 minute preparation time, and how you can prepare in that 1 minute time is exactly what I help students to strategize in my plus classes. So part 2 को approach करने के लिए आपको एक strategy चाहिए कि आप वो 1 minute आप कैसे effectively utilize कर सकते हो, right? And if you're going to use that 1 minute correctly, you will not have to feel the stress, take the stress of running short of content or going black or any sort of the difficulty that you guys generally have. It's going to eliminate all of that. Part 3 is one part where you could actually use the time to show off your language, show off your speaking skills as much as you can, right? So make good use of part 3. And also, now part 3 is one question which becomes a little tricky in terms of the language that you put up, because part 3, all the questions would be formulated on the basis of your opinion, your thought, your point of views, your ideas. So you have to ensure that you revolve them around as to what do you think. So you don't just have to give a speech. You have to remember the speaking test is not a speech. It is a conversation that they're trying to test, right? So you have to be extra careful on that. Okay, so that's a quick discussion on 3 different parts. Now I'm going to give you some good tips for your speaking modules, and try and use them when you prepare. For preparing, I personally feel it's the best if you could record yourself and share your answers, and make sure you do not just leave it to yourself, you make others listen. And that is why I tell my students in my class specifically, all the questions that I share, try and record your answers and share it with me, and I do share recordings back with them. Lovepreet is here. Hi Lovepreet. You're weak in speaking. Is there any particular part that you think is difficult for you? In anything specific that you want to mention? Maybe I can assist you a little bit more specifically. Now, while we wait for Lovepreet to elaborate on what the struggle is, yes, as I was saying, guys, you need to make sure that you record your answers and listen yourself first, so you'll get a clear understanding of what you do. For example, there are a lot of words that we repeatedly use. For example, I use the word like many times. I say like this, you know, like, right? So this is something that I could observe because I did try and hear myself, and this is something that you have to push yourself to do. Also, make sure that you don't leave the recording to yourself, because there are a lot of times when we listen to ourselves, we just feel excited about hearing ourselves and we do not find errors. So make sure that you pass on the recording to the other person. Make sure you pass it to your teachers, your educators, to help them assess you, right? You have to make them push you to overcome your problems. Okay, so that's one important tip. Now, a couple of things that you have to be careful about is you have to cue card, follow up. एक second, just give me a second. Okay, so Lovepreet. That's a really disappointing score, isn't it? You really need to work harder, Lord, then. Lovepreet, do you practice talking to yourself every day? Do you record and listen to how you speak? Now, a couple of important tips that I want to give you guys is make sure you sound confident with your speech. Even if you're not, I'm sure you can fake it just like you do in your interviews. So make your conversation sound loud and confident with your voice modulation, with your hand gestures, with your sitting postures, with you looking into the eyes of the other person. These are easy ways to look confident even if you're not. Okay? Next is you need to be friendly and formal at the same time. Why I put them together is because obviously you'll have topics that will be relatively easy. So you will be talking on them in a relatively friendly atmosphere. And also because I relatively push students to try and keep the content really easy, try and get to the easier part of the topic. Try and talk about real things that you can connect easily, real life situations, put up examples, talk about really easy things, right? So even if you're talking about the most informal topic ever, you need to make sure that you keep your tone formal because this is your exam, right? Next is, in terms of vocabulary, don't try and throw up unnecessarily word and stress yourself, because if you're not able to make correct sentences with those words, you are anyways losing marks. So all you have to do is try not to be repetitive over the use of words, and also just go a little bit above on easy words like good and bad and use alternative better words for them, right? Next one is you need to learn to expand your answers. There are many different ways which I discuss in my Plus courses also, how you can expand your answers. Avoid giving one word replies. So even if the question wants a one word answer, make sure that you do not give one word answer. You make sentences out of them. Okay? Next one is do not speak with the monotone. A lot of students have sent their audio recording of the questions personally to me, and I have given them feedbacks. You can in fact do that to me as well. If you connect with me on Telegram and you want to share your answers and you want me to review, you can do that. I have found this one common problem of students speaking in a monotone. There's no sound of expression, no tone going up, down, happy, excited, sad, dull, sentence completion, sentence beginning. There's no sort of a tone exchange going on. Everything sounds blunt and plain. And that absolutely shows lack of confidence on your language. So you don't want to do that. You want to bring that atmosphere where you are having a nice conversation, and when you have conversation, you do use different modes. And if you don't bring in, you're going to lose marks automatically. Don't sound like you're reading a book. Don't sound you're reading, maybe you're just reading an article to someone, or don't sound rehearsed. All these things show lack of connectivity and power. So don't do that. Next one is, do not deviate a lot from the topic. Now, this is something that I can give you a small hint on. If you think you do not have too much to talk on, try and answer the question in the first sentence, in a direct, simple sentence, so that you tick mark the task achievement part. After that, you can subtly move from the main topic to the other topic that you want to slightly, gradually shift to, by making it sound like that you're falling out from the main topic, and that you can do that very smartly. But make sure you mention that in the first line initially, what the question is asking, in one simple sentence. And if you don't have anything to follow up, you can use a subtopic in context to the main topic. Now, you certainly can talk about for example, cricket and television, but if you're talking about cricket and you want to move to football, you can definitely do it, right? Next one is, do not speak too quickly, slowly or quietly. Quickly बोलने से आपको ज़रूरी नहीं कि आपको अच्छे marks मिलेंगे, but because there are a lot of people who have this misunderstanding, that's a wrong approach. It's not necessary that if you speak quickly, you're going to get good marks. It's not necessary. So you have to have a moderate speed where each and every word is clear and loud, right? And do not speak too slowly also. That shows lack of confidence. And quietly bologe or words mispronounce ho jayenge and that do not come clear to the examiner, you're going to lose marks. So be careful on that note. And do not worry about accent. This is again a misconception. Accent se kuch nahi hota hai. It's just your pronunciation needs to be really clear and on point. Accent, if you have any accent, it's fine, but don't waste your time in preparing for an accent, because that's not going to give you scores. Okay, and also do not try and distract yourself by monitoring time. Monitoring time is something that you can leave for the examiner to do. You have to just prepare yourself at a situation where you would be answering every question till the time examiner stops you for each question. So you're completely sitting, chilling and just talking as much as you can till you bore the person sitting in front of you. Okay? Now, what happens is sometimes I have seen people answers way too short. As I was just saying, please do not stop ever. Let the examiner track your time and length of your answers. You will keep talking. Okay? Next is, if you get difficult questions, then people get stressed. Now, honestly, in terms of difficult questions, there would be nothing like that. But there can be times where you do not understand what the question says, or do not understand what maybe a one or two word says, right? It can happen. Either you did not listen to the question properly, or you did not fully understand the question, right? Now, in these situations, it is possible. It is possible that it can happen. It has happened with me too. I'll tell you a small story in context to this. So when I was giving my exam, IELTS UKVI, UKVI stands for UK Visa and Immigration. So the question, I think it was a question in context to a friend, something related to friend. I don't remember the question exactly because it was back in the old days. So yes, but there was this question in part 3, which I remember. I did not understand the question at all. I had no clue what the question was saying. So what I did was I very formally, respectfully asked the question back to the examiner, where I clearly mentioned that I do not understand what it means. Can you please explain it to me? Now then what the examiner did was he explained the question to me. And in fact, I did not get it yet again. Maybe that had just pressurized me in that particular situation. So I got really pressurized. I got tensed. So I could not comprehend very closely to what the examiner tried to explain. So what I thought was, I could not, it was not a good impression to go back to back asking the question. So what I did was I tried to rephrase and paraphrase exactly what the examiner was trying to say, and I just move forward to just making it a little bit more elaborate, right? So you can do it in case you do not have an understand any question, or if there's any word that you did not understand, you definitely have a chance to put it back and ask back to the examiner. But I'm sure you don't want to do it more than 2 times. Max is 2 times. You don't want to do it more than 2 times, because then it doesn't looks very you know, like it's just not a good impression to do it. So don't do more than 2 times. You can stick to 1 or 2 times max. Okay, so do not get intimidated. As long as you make it sound like a part of conversation, then it's completely fine. Now, contractions, a lot of people who ask me in terms of contraction. Now, contractions are actually very, very good areas of giving you good scores in your pronunciations. Okay, pronunciation carries 25% of the weightage, and instead of saying, for example, I am Meenaal Fatma, if I say I'm Meenaal, now actually I'm trying to just go 1 step ahead on the levels of pronunciation. I'm targeting higher scores for pronunciation automatically. So using contractions are very, very good. Also, along with contractions, you can use natural fillers. Natural fillers are yet again a very good way to give yourself a little time to think about it and yet not sound blank and banal, right? And also using actually, you know, these kind of pauses are actually good for your showing your native communication skills. It is good, so you can use them. So if anybody comes and tells you that it's bad to use or taking a break, or even in fact you can use natural fillers in between somewhere, when you finally run short of content, you can take a little break by using natural fillers and then come back with a bang. Okay, so these were quick tips for speaking module. Before I end the video, I'm going to tell you quickly about the Plus courses. Now all these courses you can find them on my Unacademy profile as well. So if you download Unacademy Learner app on your phone, or you go to the website and type my name and go to the plus button, you're going to find all these courses and their entire schedule along with a small demo video. Now this particular month is very beneficial because as I mentioned at the beginning, 29 February, you have to put in your application before that. I tried to push forward to cover all the 4 modules for your revision. So in one course I'm covering reading, then you have listening, then you have writing 1, writing 2, and you have speaking and grammar. I finished recently. So first of all, even if you buy a subscription, you can still join me and attend my older courses. तो अगर आप अभी भी ज्वाइन कर रहे हो तो आप मेरे पिछले महीने के कोर्सेज को भी देख सकते हो. आप मेरे को अगर ज्वाइन कर रहे हो तो you can also attend each and every teacher's class. So आप सबसे हर जगह से information gather कर रहे हो, right? Sorry. So to join my classes, you have to buy a subscription. Now this is how the subscription page looks like. As I said, if you go to my profile, just below the demo video, you'll have a subscription button. If you click that, you'll see the following options. I would personally recommend, if you're targeting a good band score, you need to give yourself 3 months ka room, and 3 months mein I'll make sure I push you forward to 7.5. But if you're in the zone when you're just doing your revision, you can join us for 1 month, right? And make sure you use my referral code, which is Meenaal Live, which will give you first for a 10% discount. And also, if you want me to address you personally, which I will, if you use my referral code, I will be notified, and then we can take it further together. In case you have any further questions, then you can drop down a message on my Telegram channel, Instagram, and Facebook, and we can take the conversation further. I'll end the video now. I hope you found it productive. So make sure you do like it. Please remember to like it and share it with your friends, so more and more people can know and learn about important points which will help them to push their speaking module and do a lot better. So in case you guys have not yet subscribed to the channel, also make sure you do, because I keep bringing up a lot of videos. So I'll end the video now. Make sure you get the subscription soon and join my Plus classes. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great evening.